From the Up Coast Studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching The Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell, and it's time for our We Pick 'em segment. Barry, we've got a little bit of everything, so if you're a sports fan, surely something here will float your boat. Let's start with some soccer, which I know floats your boat, Barry, of course, every 4 years with the World Cup. Does the U.S. survive group play? U.S. opening the World Cup Monday, 5 p.m. against Ghana. Do they survive their group?
I'm going to say yes. I think Klinsmann, the coach, is just playing possum with everybody, saying no realistic chance of winning, blah, 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 blah. It's a tough group with Portugal and Germany and even Ghana. You know, they eliminated the Yanks the last 2 World Cups. But I'm going to say the U.S. pulls a surprise and does survive the group.
I'm going to say I'm proud of you for knowing all that, by the way.
I read the paper.
That's good stuff, Barry. Wow. All right. Yeah, this game against Ghana, it's huge. But I say that even if the U.S. wins it, it's not coming out of the group. Just too tough for the U.S. to come out. They landed in one of those groups of death. And I think that they're building for the future. I think to try to get some guys experience in this international arena to try to maybe be prepared for 18. But I just think it's too tough. Too many tough games, too many tough matches out there for the U.S.
Building for the future seems like a terrible idea when the main deal is every 4 years.
I know. But I think that's why they left Landon Donovan off the roster. My 2 cents on that. All right, what about this, Barry? Who wins the World Cup? Since you know so much, who you got winning it?
Well, I don't know anything other than I generally cheer with my heart. I love the African nations, and I'm pulling for Italy because I'm going to Italy, going to be in Italy during the World Cup. So I wanted everybody to be in a good mood. But I'm going to pick merry old England just because I love the Brits.
Wow.
I don't know if they can win. Have they not won since 1950 or so? I think
it's been a
long time. Yeah. I'm ready for the Brits to win. I'm hoping they do.
I do not think the Brits are going to win, but I really don't know who's going to win. I'm going with Brazil. That's my pick. They're at home. I think there's going to be a lot of great enthusiasm for the Brazil team from their home countrymen. I know that there's a lot of dissidence swirling around this World Cup with all the money that was spent and all the things that are going wrong just in society in Brazil. But I think once things get started, I think that love for soccer is just going to come to the front, and I think you're going to see Brazil win it. But I could see Argentina winning. I could see about 4 or 5 teams really legitimately having a chance to win the whole thing. But I think the home team gets it done. All right, we said we had a little bit of everything. How about some golf, Barry? U.S. Open. Already teeing off Thursday. Who you got winning the U.S. Open?
Well, I picked Matt Kuchar. I think he's just played very well in majors for a long time. He's still fairly young, but now a veteran. I think guys like that eventually win. We saw Stuart Sink do it at the British. We saw Payne Stewart do it at this very own Pinehurst. So I think somebody like Matt Kuchar will win. So I'm going to say Matt Kuchar.
All right, I'm going with the young guy. I'm going with Jordan Spieth. He's knocking on the door in the last few majors and has really sort of become the name or the new name out there on tour. And I think he's going to break through. I have a good feeling. I made that pick before the first round started, and last I checked, he was leading. So I feel good about it. I think Jordan Spieth's going to break through. But I did see Ricky Fowler. He's cut the hair, and he's wearing Payne Stewart-esque knickers today.
That's
so
very nice.
If he won, I'd be for it. That's a cool deal. All right, Barry, back to some hardwood. That's been our focus the last few weeks. Let's talk NBA Finals. Game 4 coming up Thursday night. Spurs at Heat. Who you got winning Game 4?
I'm going to take the Spurs winning Game 4. I think it'd be 3-0 right now if the Spurs had just made a couple 3 foul shots in Game 2. So I like the Spurs in Game 4. They're playing very well. I think the Heat is all LeBron. Whatever LeBron can get done. And he's playing mightily, but it's too tough for one guy. So I'm going to take San Antonio in Game 4.
I will pick the Heat in Game 4 just because of the bounce back factor. Coming back from a really virtually embarrassing. I mean, it was almost embarrassing what the Heat did in Game 3 to give up, 71? 71 in the first. I mean, just ridiculous how many points they gave up in the first half to the Spurs and essentially dug a hole so big they had no chance to come back. So I'm saying the Heat in Game 4, but that leads to our next pick 'em. I don't think they win again. Series, Barry, who wins this? Spurs, Heat?
I'm going to take the Spurs. I think there's a better chance the series ends in 5 then it goes 7. So I think the Spurs are going to win. I picked the Spurs in 6, but I think it may just end in 5 now.
I'm going to go Spurs still. That was my original pick, but I say the Spurs win this thing. And, I just think they're a better team. Now, do they have individual talent-wise? Do they have more talent than the Heat? And I suppose you could argue that, because of how good LeBron is individually, or how good Dwayne Wade is individually, or Chris Bosh, maybe they have enough of those advantages that you would say they have more individual talent, but they're not a better team. They're just not. We saw that when the Spurs played the Thunder, that ultimately the Spurs were the better team. I think we're seeing that in this series, and I think the Spurs are going to get it done. They might have been the better team last year too, Barry. Let's be honest about that. So
should have won.
Might just be the better team in this matchup. Okay, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoma.